What's going on, Washington fans? Welcome to A to Z Sports Washington. And guys, who would have thought this is the feeling we would have by the halfway mark of the season as Washington loses another game, goes to 3-5. They're one of the worst teams in the NFC right now. And it feels like playoffs aren't even a possibility at this point. Obviously, you've seen everything that I've been writing over the last 24 hours or so since the game ended, and it's been pretty, I hate to say it, negative, but it just seems like this season is ready to be chalked up as just a bad nightmare of a season, and there's nothing wrong with that. I hate to say it, but the injuries and then also the product that we've seen on the field over the last few weeks. This game was so frustrating because even without Jayden Daniels in that first half against the Chiefs, 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions off Patrick Mahomes in his own house under the lights. That's the perfect start. But then, of course, the offense can't get anything going. The 2 interceptions lead to 0 points, 2 drives that were turnovers on down after bad fourth downs. And then, of course, Terry McLaurin finds the end zone for the first time this season. Thank goodness. Thank the Lord. We at least got a Terry McLaurin touchdown. And it was 7-7 at halftime. And it felt like there was a real chance for Washington to prove a lot of people wrong when everyone was watching. But they had us fooled. Because in the second half, we saw that Washington team that we have seen week in and week out this year. And it was hard to watch. The defense, the same struggles. The wide open plays, the explosive plays for the opposing offense, the busted coverages, Bobby Wagner on Rashee Rice. There's a lot to talk about with that second half. And then still, the offense didn't score any points. Offense didn't get going. Terry McLaurin's quad messed up again. There's so much about on this live stream. So I appreciate y'all, everyone popping in here. We're already at 100 live as we just went live 2 minutes ago. So make sure y'all subscribe and hit that thumbs up button for other Washington fans to come in here and we can vent. I won't be all negative, but going forward, man, Liquid Alex, I appreciate these sessions a lot. I appreciate you. Going forward in this season, I just want to say this real quick. Looking at the record, I said it today. I did an article saying time is up. Like we heard Zach Ertz say last night, the clock is ticking. Well, the clock is ticked. I think time's up. The Seahawks game is really the backbreaker. That's where the season officially ends for me. Like I said, Washington is 13th in the NFC right now. They're behind only the Cardinals, Giants, and Saints. Washington has the second most NFC losses right now with 4. They got 1 win over the Giants. Week 1 was a bad Giants team. But like playoffs, people are like, oh, Josh, they're not officially out. I know that. But I just want people to realize that for Washington to even sniff the playoffs, the Bears are the 8th seed right now. They lost to them. The Falcons are the 11th seed, lost to them. So those are 2 possible wild card teams that you have head-to-head losses over, so that doesn't matter at all. The Lions, the Seahawks coming up. You have to win both of those games. You have to beat the Seahawks and the Lions. And then, of course, you got the Madrid game against the Dolphins. Who cares? Game against the Broncos. Who cares? Vikings, don't know what they'll look like. That's a winnable game. But so was the Bears game, and they lost that one. Then you got Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles. You literally have to sweep the rest of the NFC East games and beat the Lions and Seahawks to have a chance. They're not going to win the NFC East. I mean, straight up. Let's be real. They're not going to win the NFC East. So if they're going to steal one of those last 2 spots, they're already behind. They're behind. They're behind the sticks because they lost to the Bears. They lost to the Falcons. So for them to have any shot right now, I know 3-5 doesn't say eliminated from playoffs. But if they lose to Seahawks and Lions, that's 3-7. You're not going to get a wild card spot unless you sweep the rest of the games in the season. And I hate to say it, but that is very unlikely. So will Jayden Daniels come back Sunday night against the Seahawks? We'll see. We'll talk about that. Dan Quinn gave his first update today, but let's go through some chats. Appreciate y'all hopping up in here. Ryan, if I see any positivity in this chat, I might crash out. Sometimes we need a good crash out. Honestly, offense was the only problem in the first half, then 50% of the problem in the second half, with the other 50% being the defense, and I agree with that fully. I was surprised at the defense the first half. They came out with an energy, but it's like they went into the locker room and just came out with none of that. And of course, the first time they touched the ball, Jaylen Lane messed up a kickoff, and they started at the 2-yard line, had the ball for, 2 minutes, then gave it right back to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and they scored again. So that's a great way to lose all that momentum. You go into halftime 7-7, and just like that, it's 21-7. You don't even have time to grab a snack and sit back down after halftime, and it's 21-7. Just like that. What's up, y'all? Season is over. Time to hang it up and just get ready for the off season. Pretty much, man. That's honestly how I'm feeling right now. I hate to say it. Man, who do we draft? Ohio State wide receiver or Texas A&M defensive ends? You talking about the wide receiver Cardell Tate. I love Cardell Tate. If we're taking a wide receiver that high in the first, he's the only one that I like, besides like Jordan Tyson, obviously, but I think he's the first one taken. I mean, shoot, by now, Washington's pretty much having the 10th. I think they're a 10th or 11th pick in the draft right now. So who knows? By the time this is over, they might be in single digits. And then the Texas A&M wide defensive end, Cassius Howell, that's my guy. Love Cassius Howell. Definitely take him. We need a pass rusher, and we need a playmaker. Playmaker on defense, playmaker on offense. We need to get younger. Now's the last article I just wrote. Washington has a roster problem, and it is age. Bobby Wagner showed it. Zach Ertz is 32nd in the league in yards after catch. The age is being exposed by Washington, and I hate to say it, but Adam Peters, the offseason that he had, he saw the team go to the NFC Championship game and said, we don't have to get crazy this offseason. We were right there. Let's add Tunzel. That was a great trade. Let's add Debo for a 5th. I still think that was a great trade. And then let's kind of budget spend in the offseason. That's where I'm kind of like, you probably should have done a little bit more in the offseason. Instead of budget and get Von Miller. Jacob Martin's been great. Dietrich Wise was cheap. Will Harris was cheap, but Wise is hurt. Harris is hurt. Probably should have spent a little bit more in the offseason. Jackie said one team showed up first half and another second half. That's it. We saw two different teams. We saw the potential of Washington in the first half, and then we saw the real Washington team in the second half. McNichols needs more snaps over JCM, Snot over Ertz. McNichols, I tell you, man, he's good for 2-3 big plays every game. Third down, look for McNichols. Or if it's going to somebody else, he's going to have a crazy blitz pickup. He did it again last night, but that's his brand. Bobby Wagner on Bijan Robinson, his open field is what did it for me. Him, Tucker Kraft, Rashee Rice. And we see it every week. And people are saying, it's scheme. It's not scheme. It's just the fact that Joe Witt, for whatever reason, will not take Bobby Wagner off the field. If you're on the field, you're going to be covering somebody. It's not scheme unless you're blitzing Bobby Wagner, but you're already having to blitz Frankie Louisville because you don't have any defensive ends. So Frankie Louisville is already coming off the edge or he's coming on a blitz. So you can't blitz Bobby Wagner. So he has to go into coverage. So if he's on the field, he has to be in coverage. So it's not a scheme thing. It's Joe Witt. Get him off the field. Put Kane Medrano out there. Like sink or swim with Kane Medrano. You drafted him. You know what the results are going to be with Bobby Wagner. I know he had the one interception that was kind of tipped to him. But even on that play, Travis Kelce was open. That's a play that never happens with Travis Kelce. So for me, that was like a splash in the pan kind of play for Bobby Wagner. And then we saw the real coverage with the Rashee Rice touchdown, where it's just like, man. And even that, the Kareem Hunt touchdown where he got stuck in traffic with Travis Kelce, Then Bobby Wagner's like, oh, I'm just going to pass it off to Tyler Owens in man coverage in the end zone. You don't do that. So it's just like, it's not scheme. It's who you're putting on the field. If you're going to be at linebacker, you have to cover somebody. So the offense is going to create that mismatch and say, all right, we know Bobby's going to be in the middle of the field. So let's send Rashee Rice across the middle. Let's get that matchup we like. Same thing in the end zone. We know Bobby Wagner is going to be on Kareem Hunt. Let's make him have to carry across the middle because we've seen all season long that he can't do that. So for the love of God, man, I know we saw more Jordan McGee finally, but I want more McGee, less Bobby. And Cam Medrano's active. They said we were going to see him. I think he played a few special team snaps, but he didn't play any defensive snaps. Charles Duckett, we in dark days again, brother. Sigh, I feel you. Did you are ready to give up on the idea of playoffs? Absolutely. Playoffs is not even a thought for me. I think we need just young, unproven players at this point. No more Dan Snyder champions of the offseason getting old players. I like that, and it's worked. Tyler Biadasz, when he was with Dallas, was a young, unproven player. Like, he was good, but he still had a ceiling to hit. Dorrance Armstrong, he was young. He was like, 24? And he was rotating in behind Micah Parsons, behind DeMarcus Lawrence, and he was producing, but he just needed more of a role. They brought him over here, and then now look at Dorrance Armstrong. Out for the season now, but he was sack leader, top 3 in pressure rate in the league. Like, that's what we need. Like, I don't mind going after, the Quay Walkers, or, I mean, who else is going to be a free agent this offseason? We'll see. But I was against going after like the Josh Sweats this past offseason and some of like the big name guys, because those usually don't work out too well. You give them this big contract without knowing how well they're going to fit on your team. And then they get here and you're just like, what the heck? We just invested this big contract. This guy had double-digit sacks with his team. Now he has 3. So I like the idea of finding those young, unproven players, finding those guys that fit what you want to do. But I also think there's going to be a lot of changes this offseason. I really don't see Joe Witt coming back. I really don't. So if that's the case, you need to get a defensive coordinator in here and sit down with them and say, hey, what do you want? And what I like about these Hard Knock shows and some of these like behind the scenes shows is, I want to say that the Giants on theirs, it was like 2 years ago, they were showing behind the scenes of like the draft and stuff like that, and how they meet with the defensive coordinators. Like, hey, who's your guys? Who's the guys that are going to fit what you want to do? You're not just drafting somebody just to draft somebody or signing a free agent just because of their name. Like, sit down with whoever they do hire. If they hire somebody, which, like I said, at this point, I think they have to bring in somebody, whether it's a college guy, whether it's somebody else in the NFL looking for a chance to be a defensive coordinator, whoever it is, I don't care. Sit down with them and be like, what's your identity? What's your defense? Who on this team fits what you're looking for and you can work with and you like what you see? But then who do we need to replace? Is it Quan Martin at safety? Because he's looked so bad this season. Do you want Mikey Sanders still back on the outside in your defense? Do you need a slot corner? Like, what are you looking for? So there's just a lot. There's so much work to be done with this roster. And it's exciting for me because I like to break it down and think of different possibilities. But it's also exhausting because it's like, when are they going to have a stable roster? I think Adam Peters got too comfortable after last season and said, we really don't need too much work. But now we see that we need a lot of work. I wonder what AP is currently thinking because, DQ and the boys are like, nah, we're fighting until December, but AP got to think of the future. Exactly. I mean, AP is going to be a businessman. How many times has he been aggressive already? Trading for Marshawn Lattimore, trading for Laramie Tunzel, trading away, Jahan Dotson. He's not afraid to make bold moves during the season, after the season, right before the season, whatever. Adam Peters is going to do what he thinks is best. Now, of course, Dan Quinn and him meet and they talk about the roster. It's not like one's just going to override the other or nothing like that. Like, it is a joint partnership. But at the same time, DQ knows. I mean, he looks exhausted right now. After the game, man, he's just like, and then today at the press conference, they're talking about injuries. He's like, we've had a lot of those this year, haven't we? We've had to do this a lot, haven't we? So, DQ and AP are talking, but at the end of the day, like AP has to be realistic with himself. The playoffs are far beyond. Like, do you trade Daron Payne before the trade deadline? He's under contract for one more year. But if you don't think you're going to extend him, then trade him right now while his value is peak right now. Like, he's playing out of his mind this season. Like, yes, he would be on the team next year, but then after that, you're going to lose him for pretty much nothing because you should be spending a lot of money in free agency. So if Daron Payne is not in your future, trade him to the Buffalo Bills right now. Get a 3rd round pick. You got 6 picks. You got a 1st, a 3rd, a 5th, 2 6th, and a 7th for this draft coming up. You need more. You need more. You have so many players you will have to replace this offseason. And I get Daron Payne's good. Like, why are you trading good players? Because he's probably not in your future. So don't drag it out to the end where you get nothing. And then you're just like, oh, well, that was fun. That was fun. That was a great ride. Because who knows what Daron Payne's going to look like next year? He's probably going to want more guaranteed money because he has no guaranteed money next year. So you're probably going to have to add more money. More guaranteed money like they did with Laramie Tunsil right before the season. Gave him some money up front. They're probably going to extend Laramie Tunsil. But you really have to think about trading Daron Payne. And I honestly think Noah Igbinoghene gets traded this week. I really think Noah Igbinoghene gets traded this week. He was inactive Sunday. We're already seeing some players get traded. You get like a late 6th round pick for Noah Igbinoghene, and that's fine. Teams were calling about him before the season even started. There was a ton of rumors about it. People were checking in for corners. Noah Igbinoghene was one of the guys. So it would not surprise me if Noah gets traded, not Noah Brown, Noah Igbinoghene, the corner, gets traded this week for like a 6th or 7th, or they do a pick swap. Like we just saw Keon White just got traded from the Patriots to the 49ers. They swapped a 6th and a 7th round pick. I could see that happening. He's still young. He's like, 25 years old. He can play on the inside. He can play on the outside. Teams need corners. It would not surprise me. I did my first mock draft series of mock drafts today. Don't blame you. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I was doing them over the weekend. What's going on, Radar Sub Josh? You already know what time it is. Mock drafts. Jokes aside, that's a steep hill, especially with all these injuries. Talk about the record and the schedule coming up. It's not easy. Been doing mock drafts to ease the pain. Don't blame you. You know our season is cooked when Bobby Wagner's DMing commander accounts. Yeah, if that's true, that's crazy. We're not in a position as a team to look ahead. The mindset of the team and even fan base needs to literally be one game at a time. I agree, but if you lose, it's hard not to think ahead, though. Because if you lose to that Seahawks game, you have to have a perfect second half of the season. And from what we've seen, just what we've seen, is this team capable of a flawless second half of the season with the injuries? No. Jayden Daniels and Terry McLaurin have not played together since week 2, and we're going into week 9. Week 9. They have not played together since that Green Bay Packers game. That is terrible. With Jayden being hurt and then Terry getting hurt and then Jayden coming back and then he gets hurt and then Terry comes back. Maybe they'll both play on Sunday night. Who knows? But man, it's tough. Besides McNichols and Terry, no one was helping Mariota. But let's keep in mind the last time Terry, Debo, and Jayden all played together. Oh yeah, literally exactly what I was just saying. I should have read the comment first. But yeah, literally week 2. That's crazy. I will say Luke McCaffrey had a couple of nice catches last night. I love that toe tap one. But yeah, but Mariota, he missed the easy throws too. That 4th and 1, a lot of people saying it was a bad play call. Should have ran. It was the right call. The Chiefs blitz a ton on 3rd and 4th downs. They blitz a ton. I want to say they brought 7 on that 4th and 1 call. If you run that ball, you're getting stuffed 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Chris Jones is getting up and doing some celebration. You do not run the ball there. They had a perfect play call for it. And Marcus Mariota had the hot with Zach Ertz across the middle. If there's a blitz, that's where you go. The blitz was coming. He freaked out and he heaved it downfield to Terry McLaurin for whatever reason. But if you go back, if you look at my tweets, if you go back and watch the play, Zach Ertz he's wide open in the middle. 2-3 yards like ahead of the first down. It's just Marcus Mariota missed it. This is a hot take. I honestly love Cliff Kingsbury's play calling. I love it. I don't think the team executes it well at all. If it screens, there's really bad blocking on the outside. And I get it, he abandoned the run last night, but they could not run the ball at all when they did. I couldn't remember one run where I was like, okay, run it again. Not at all. Every time I saw a run, I saw him getting stuffed in the line of scrimmage. You have Chris Jones, you got that defensive line, George Karlaftis, Charles Omenihu, like they have a good defensive line. Leading rusher was Marcus Mariota. That's terrible. Yeah, that's bad. We got to get back to running the ball too, though. Club 100 TV, will you do off-season mock tonight? Not tonight. It's too soon. I won't be doing mock draft videos for a couple of weeks, but I will absolutely be doing mock draft articles. Probably not this week, but next week. Next week, especially if they lose to the Seahawks, you will see a lot of draft content. You'll be seeing more roster construction articles from me. But A2ZSports.com, go to the Washington Commanders page. All my stuff is there. Already dropped 4 articles today. Sole focus should be looking at how to get a win in the Seahawks game. No roster building analysis of draft picks. None of that really helps or matters now. All that matters is getting our next win. I don't disagree, but it's just like, are you really thinking that they could put together 4 quarters to go against Jackson Smith and Jigba in that Seahawks offense? They need more youth, speed, and talent on the field for sure. I think the age and the lack of speed is getting exposed. Any head coach, that would be a great DC. I mean, is Aaron Glenn a one and done? Is Pete Carroll fired? Maybe that's your 2 defensive coordinator options. Safety is a huge need. Absolutely. I'm so disappointed by what we've seen with Quan Martin. It kind of surprised me, but the tackling has been bad. How is he better tackling with 2 torn shoulders than he is this year after getting his shoulders worked on? At this point, I don't see us trading for a guy. I don't see us trading for anyone either unless we do a player swap. But I really do think Noah Igbinoghene gets traded. I think so. Quan Martin needs to absolutely skip town. He's the worst Jay Barton on the defense. Jartavius Martin is his government name. It's the gaming culture. Can't get the perfect results in situation. Just reset. That's what you're doing. When they're looking ahead to rebuilding the roster into the draft, definitely am. Did Terry get hurt again and out? Yeah. So he had that sideline catch where he dove for it, got the right leg down. They had a look at it. They called it a catch, but he went out. Trainers looked at him, and he never came back in after that. He said he's going to take a day-to-day after the game, and he said he's good. We'll see. We will see. Josh, would you be shocked if they made a bold move at the deadline? I would be shocked if they traded for a player. I don't see that as an option anymore. I think the only bold move that they could make is trading Deron Payne. I wonder if we could get anything for Quan Martin. I mean, probably, yeah. I just don't see them trading him right now. But he's young. He's going to fit on other defenses, but just whatever reason, man, just does not look the same this year. Does not look the same. Well, another trade. The Patriots. Man, the Patriots are trading everybody. The Patriots are trading Kyle Duggar in the 7th round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers in exchange for a 6th round pick. Just after the Patriots traded Keon White to the 49ers. So the Patriots have traded away 2 players. They traded 2 players in the last hour. So I feel like trade deadline stuff this week is going to be hot. So we'll see if Washington decides to do anything, but we'll see. But this wouldn't shock me if they went on a run and barely made playoffs. It would not shock me. That'd be the most Washington thing ever. What's your thoughts on what's going on with the run game? I need to rewatch the game from last night. I don't fault Cliff for getting away from it at certain times. Sometimes I hate this whole carousel of, Bill and then Chris Rodriguez and then Jeremy McNichols. I feel like they just need to feed the hot hand. But once again, they're trying to keep up with Patrick Mahomes in that offense. You can only, if the run game isn't working and it wasn't working early last night, they're like, we got to do something different. because the game's going to get away from you so fast if you don't. And that's exactly what happened in the second half. They said, okay, we have to try to keep up. And Patrick Mahomes and the offense started clicking, and the offense could do nothing. And at that point, you have to throw the ball. So they had a good run defense anyways. I really didn't expect them to run it too much against the Chiefs because of that front they have. But I feel like the plays were there on offense. That's what's so frustrating. The plays were there. There were so many opportunities. And I see Dan Quinn talk about it. He talked about it today too. There's so many opportunities, but the fourth downs, the missed 4th and 1 throw where he heaved it to Terry, that's an easy throw to Zach Ertz. There was a lot of times the offensive line didn't have a great game either last night. Of course, Laramie Tunsil goes out early. I thought that Brandon Coleman came in and did a solid job at left tackle, so shout out to BC. But Josh Connolly Jr. had a rough night. There was a lot of times where Marcus Mariota was like, there was pressure there right away. So offensive line took a little step back over the last few weeks. But I just think these games where they go down early, you can't just say, hey, okay, we're going to run the ball. We're down double digits. We're going to just keep running the ball and then come off the field and give them the ball right back. So they got to figure it out. But that's something Dan Quinn talked about today as well. They need to run the ball better. Watching Lane last night, never thought I'd be begging for Luke McCaffrey to be on the field. I think Luke looks solid, man. I'm still excited to see what he brings. Do we trade for Brian Thomas Jr.? And who do you think our weapons will be next year? I don't see them trading for Brian Thomas Jr. Man, they just need Terry to get healthy. They need Terry to get healthy. Does Devo come back next year? Depends what he's asking for contract-wise. I still think they have to draft somebody. Part of me wants them to draft somebody high, but part of me is like, just go defense. Maybe get a good free agent wide receiver in here. But man, I just want young playmakers at those important positions. Wide receiver, another corner, a pass rusher. That's top priority for me. Give me a top pass rusher. Justin said did a mock draft earlier. Drafted TJ Parker out of Clemson. Love him. Elijah Surratt out of Indiana, the wide receiver. Love him. Eli Stowers, tight end out of Vanderbilt. Love him. And drafted a kicker in the 7th round. Don't love drafting a kicker, but I get it. From your point of view, what is your early assessment of the Tunsil trade? I love it. I think that was a great trade. I think he's getting extended. Obviously, this little hamstring injury isn't ideal. That can take a week or two to come back from. He tried to come back in, just didn't work. Changed the street clothes and said, I'm hanging it up for the night, which I respect. Don't push it and make it a bigger injury, but I respect it. I think the Tunsil trade's great. I think it's worth, what was it, 2nd, 4th, or something else. But I think that was a great trade. I think Tunsil's still one of the best in the league, especially at pass protection. He's gotten better at run blocking. He had a couple big run blocks this season. I agree. I love Cliff. I think with some decent young depth, we have McGee, Owens, etc. This is an offseason. AP needs to spend money on young stars. 100% agree. Do we even win another game? Maybe one? Yes, Radar. We do. I'd say we win. Prediction. Man. I say we go. Man. $17 games. I'm going to say 8-9. 8-9. I think they beat the Dolphins. I think they beat the Vikings. I think they beat the Giants. I lied. They're going to beat the Dolphins, Vikings, Giants, and maybe Eagles to end the season if they rest everybody. So that's 4. So 7-10. 7-10 probably. That's what you got from me. 7-10, which does not get you to the playoffs. P. Carroll and DQ working again. I wouldn't hate it, honestly. Cody said Josh and Rio vent session soon. It's definitely headed that way. Shout out to my boy Rio. Sign Brian Thomas Jr. You got to trade for him. I just don't see that happening at all. Hot take, not a fan of Aaron Glenn. Yeah, I have my moments with Aaron Glenn. Terrible head coach. Decent enough defensive coordinator, but we will see. Once we didn't get at least 14 off the turnovers, I was like, this is over for sure. You got to capitalize on the turnovers. As much as we harp on the defense at how bad they have been this season, for the first time, Marshawn Lattimore and Bobby Wagner had interceptions. Those are the kind of plays we were like, okay, they are destined to win this game, because that never happens. It was Marshawn's first interception since like 2023. That was his first with Washington for sure. And then Bobby, I don't know the last time he got an interception. But like, those are the kind of plays you have to build off of. But even with Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel back, it was not enough for the offense. So first half, in my opinion, offense's fault. Second half, it was the whole team. Special teams made a mistake with Jalen Lane. Offense couldn't convert. Third and fourth downs. Defense was giving up big plays. It was right back to what we've been seeing over the last few weeks. The biggest thing for Washington is they need Jayden back this week if they have any shot of us turning this season around. But good for us. Philly has a tough stretch the next couple of weeks. They do. Like I said, man, you're already behind with losses to the Falcons and the Bears, who are going to be teams competing for a wild card spot. So if it comes down to it and you're all the same record, they have the head-to-head over you. And like I said, you probably beat the Dolphins. That's an AFC win. You need some NFC wins. So you got to steal one against the Seahawks and the Lions. You got to beat the Vikings. And you got to beat like 3 of the NFC East teams in the season. Which, like I said, that last game against the Eagles could be, winnable if they're like resting everybody, or just I don't know. We'll see. But I currently don't have expectations of playoffs in this team's future. From what we've seen, and I get it, team like fans want to be optimistic, and they're not technically out of it. I think they're at like a 15% chance of making the playoffs right now. So it's slim, but they're not done. But I'm telling you, a loss to the Seahawks Sunday night is it. So the big question for me this week is, will Jayden Daniels play? Will he play? Going into this weekend, I'm sure we all saw it. Or was it Monday? Was it yesterday? Or was it like Sunday, where maybe it was yesterday, because Adam Schefter was on Pat McAfee's show and said that he thinks the team will be careful with Jayden Daniels' hamstring, and he would not be surprised if Daniels misses the game Sunday night as well. That's what Adam Schefter said. He would not be surprised. But then Dan Quinn came out today and said, he had a good rehab on Sunday. Things are looking great. They're back at practice tomorrow. And they expect, they didn't say he will be. They didn't say Jayden is practicing tomorrow. They said they expect him to be there. Let me check the team media schedule for this week that they sent out. So yeah, they practice tomorrow, practice Thursday, practice Friday, and then Saturday is just like a walkthrough, and then obviously they play Sunday night. So pretty much a regular week. It's just you have one less day of rest because you played on Monday night and now you play on Sunday night. So usually they would have Monday off, but they played Monday and they had off today. So it kind of throws things off just a little bit. They have one less day. So is that going to be enough for Terry McLaurin to play? Is Terry actually going to play with Jayden Daniels, which we haven't seen in over a month? But then also Laramie Tunsil with his hamstring. Is he going to be out? Brandon Coleman might start at left tackle again. If it would surprise me if Laramie Tunsil plays Sunday night with that hamstring. But we'll see. Tunsil is a beast. He's an athletic dude for his size. That dude puts in a lot of work. We'll see. But I think Jayden is obviously the biggest one. And consistency is the killer of this team. Absolutely. The injury report finna be long as hell. I hope not, man. The CVS receipt injury reports are getting old. We can't take it. Cannot take it. I don't think Jayden's going to even be playing next week. Like I said in response to Adam Schefter, I said I would be surprised if Jayden doesn't play Sunday night. But I think, but so you have to think about this. Sunday night is the game. That's the must win. Like I said, if you lose to the Seahawks, you literally got to pretty much win Lions, Vikings, Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, Giants. You have to win all of those games. You cannot afford to lose a single game if you lose to the Seahawks. So Sunday essentially is a must-win game. So I'm not saying they're going to rush back Jayden Daniels. They're not going to play him unless he's 100%. But does that go into your decision? Like, we could sit him another week and just give him that rest and make sure he's not going to risk any more injury. Or are we just going to go for it? You know, he's healthy enough. He has to play Sunday. And you just go with it. I don't know. That's what I'm looking for all week. If I had to guess, Jayden Daniels is going to be limited tomorrow. Probably limited the day after that. And then Friday, he's either going to be limited or full. And we'll find out if he actually decides to play. And of course, if it's up to Jayden, Jayden's going to say, yes, put me out on the field. But it's not up to Jayden. It's up to the coaching staff. Noah I and Brandon Coleman get traded, maybe Ertz. So I'm with you there. I think Noah I is a lock to get traded. I feel so good about that. And he should get traded. I don't care if it's for a seventh. I don't care if it's for a 2028 7th round pick. Collect your assets, Adam Peters. I don't care if it's a pick swap, which it very much could be. But Brandon Coleman, if he does have to play Sunday, but they do have Trent Scott, they do have George Fant, who both can play left tackle. I was on the Brandon Coleman, trade train, and I feel like he would get traded just because he's been an actor for so long. But I don't know. Maybe they're back in on him, and if he has to go Sunday, they decide not to trade him. I mean, they don't have to. He's second year of a rookie contract. Like, they don't have to by any means. I guess it depends like what they get offered for Brandon Coleman. I think the best offer they would get for him, I'd say it'd probably be a 5th. I feel like that's like the ceiling. Are we the most injured team, or does the 49ers still have us beat? Oh, man. 49ers are pretty bad. They're just losing. They just lost like big names. Brock Purdy should be back this week. Ayuk is still out. Fred Warner's out for the season. Bosa's out for the season. So I think the 49ers still technically have us beat just because of who they lost. But if you want numbers, I think Washington's like the most injured team in the league right now. Gotta be. I'm to the point. Are you injured or hurt? Pretty much. Everyone's hurt at this point. Can we trade with the team that sucks so the draft pick is in the top 10? That would be great. Elijah, defense will continue to struggle. As you said, we need to trade some assets to acquire some draft capital and rebuild our defense. I honestly hate where the trade deadline is. Like, they should push it back another week. Because, like I said, if you lose to the Seahawks, the trade deadlines, you have about 24 hours after that to make any trades, which is enough time. Because the trade deadline is November 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. But they play Sunday night against the Seahawks. It'll be like midnight by the time the game's over. You only have a day and a half before the trade deadline. I hate where the trade deadline. It should be like after the Lions game. It should be like second week of November. But oh well. It's time to give Troy Apke a call. He'll save us. Absolutely not. Karen said, what gets me is 3rd or 4th and 1. The quarterback is in shotgun. He's back about 5 yards or so, give or take. So now they have to go 5 or 6 yards for a first down. Why the Blazers isn't he on the tail of the center and push everyone just 1 more yard? They ought to be able to get 1 yard instead of trying for 5 or 6 yards. They only need 1 yard. Possibly. The 4th and 1 call was the right call for me just because of the blitz that was coming. They had the hot read with Zach Ertz. They could have easily gotten it. But still, that was a backbreaker. Not being able to get those 3rd and 4th downs, especially after those 2 interceptions in the first half, absolute killers. Offensively, 100%. I believe we can score with any team, but we've had bad luck this season. Yeah, we only had the first 2 games of the season as an actual offense, and I was still without Sam Cosmi. So if Jayden comes back now, I mean, you're still without Noah Brown, whatever. But Jayden, Terry, Debo, the offensive line, unless Tunzel's out, which, once again, it's going to suck, I still think the offense is good. But we just haven't been able to see it. We haven't been able to see it since week 2. And the defense is just an absolute backbreaker. But that's where I'm at, guys. That's where I'm at. The Seahawks game is a must win. And if they lose that game, I'm really going into NFL draft talk. And I'm looking, the rest of the season for me, regardless, is like, who's going to be part of the future of this roster? Guys like Zach Ertz can't be. Guys like Bobby Wagner can't be. They have to get younger. They have to, like, I get it year 1 for Adam Peters. You took over a terrible roster. You're revamping. It was the biggest turnover of the offseason when Adam Peters took over. I get signing Ertz then. I get signing Bobby Wagner then. And it worked in the first year. But year 2, to not add that many more young, impactful players. You only had 5 draft picks. Will Harris was a good one. Not too old, whatever. Solid, signing. But outside of that, it's like, who else did you go get? Von Miller. Jacob Martin, I like him. He's a little bit older too, but I like him. I thought he was a solid signing. But like Dietrich Wise, Jonathan Jones. You brought back Noah Brown. Like, what did you actually do in free agency that's enough to push us over the hump? I don't think it was enough. The draft class for me, I still like it. I still think Josh Conley Jr. is going to be good. I think Trey Amos is a stud. I think he's our best corner. I think Jalen Lane will get it figured out. I think he will, it takes a little while sometimes for wide receivers to get going, but it's not like we took him in the first round. It's not like we, expect him to be Jamar Chase off the rip. Cam Medrano, I don't know. We haven't seen him. And then Bill, I think Bill has the juice. I think he's been struggled the last few weeks. We kind of haven't seen it in a little bit, but man, it's just like the offseason, you didn't do enough. You thought you were too close to the Super Bowl. You didn't want to get too cute and make any aggressive moves and get stuck with a bad contract or anything like that. I get it, but at the same time, you thought that was enough? Von Miller, Dietrich Wise, bringing Noah Brown back? Like, I don't know. That for me was, I didn't like free agency at all. I think Will Harris and Jacob Martin was really like the only signings I was like, okay, I like this. But it's like, where was the impactful players at? The ones we could really be using right now. The players that make or break the game. It's like, okay, where's this guy? We don't have him. Dorrance Armstrong's great, but he's out for the season. We could really use that second guy right now. It's a wrap if we lose to Seattle, for sure. DQ and AP got no plans for Ben Sinnott, then trade him too. Like, man, he had one play last night. It was great. And we didn't see him again. Some of the veteran signings was not the issue, but not having depth in multiple positions has shown it is. And the lack of depth picks to be able to, not depth picks, the lack of draft picks to be able to make up that depth just isn't there. But at the same time, they're still not playing the young guys. El Cajo, Kane Medrano. Like, Ben Sinnott's not really playing much except for when Bates got hurt and he had to come in and block. That's the only time we see young players is when there's enough injuries to where they have to play them. You lose 3 or 4 defensive ends. You have to move Frankie Louvu on the outside as more of a 3-4 look. And then bam, we're going to start playing Jordan McGee. We're going to give Jordan McGee more reps. Yeah, because you have to. You got no more bodies. You got to play Jordan McGee. It's not like they're like, hey, we like what we see with Jordan McGee. He's earned more reps. It's like, hey, guys, we literally have no more bodies, so we're going to finally play Jordan McGee. But we're going to keep Bobby Wagner on the field 100% of reps. Like, come on. How are you going to go? This is my thing. How are you going to go into the offseason knowing what you need if you haven't even seen it yet? How do you know what Cam Madrano is going to do? How do you know what Jordan McGee is going to do? Are you going to get another linebacker? Are you going to spend money in free agency to go get another starting linebacker? Or are you just going to risk it and say, we think Jordan McGee can be a good enough starting linebacker? I know we only gave him about 10 snaps a game, but we're kind of going to take that risk. I don't want that. Lil C. White said, I hate that we are probably going to have a top 10 pick next year. Wonder if Jeremiah Smith enters the draft this year or next year. I really want him. So he can't enter the draft until 2027, unfortunately. But Cardinal Tate's going to be there. Denzel Boston, Jordan Tyson's probably a top 6, top 7 pick. My guy, Jerm Bernard from Alabama. Chris Bell. There's a lot of wide receivers draft I really like. I want to see Cahill out there. Same. Like, I want to see something different. I'm sick of seeing Bobby Wagner in coverage. I was really hoping we would be in a good spot and then we would trade for Breece Hall. Same. Like, I feel like Breece Hall is going to get traded and it's going to be something so cheap. We're going to be like, really? If we were in contention, we could have done that. For my opinion, our biggest hole was our wide receiver room. And, there were a lot of holes, but like no UDFA worked out and we got stuck with Chris Moore. Yeah, Ja'Cory Brooks, we didn't really get to see much of him, but we got stuck with Chris Moore, Robbie Chosen last week, and then they cut him. Like, it was bad. It was bad. Agreed. Need to let the young core play. Only way to develop 100%. Josh, not going to lie, Arvell Reese will look insane in burgundy and gold next year. Use him like a Micah Parsons role. Hey, Arvell Reese would do anything on defense. Like, literally, he is absolutely insane. If you don't know him, Reese from Ohio State. Definitely, I mean, he's the best linebacker in the country. Might be a top 5 pick. Like, he's that good. But he's playing out of his mind. To be fair, we didn't expect Terry's situation, but that wide receiver room besides Debo snowballed out of control for sure. We're not done yet. If Jayden and Terry play this week, then we will go on a run. I hope so, DT. I hope so. No offense to Connolly, because getting a tackle was important, but man, I really wish we got Jahad Campbell instead. Same, I like him, but I still feel good about Josh Connolly Jr., man. I still feel good about it. Got to go DN in the first round for sure. Like I said, guys, if we lose to the Seahawks, you don't got to twist my arm for mock drafts anymore. It's coming. But like I said, we got a lot of people up in this live stream, so make sure you hit subscribe and hit that thumbs up button for me. Win or lose, I'm going to be here every night the day after a game. So Sunday nights, I'll be here Monday night. If we play Monday night again? I think so. Then I'll be here on Tuesday nights and then like I said, win or lose. I'll be doing this every week. Whether we start mock drafts in December or we're doing free agency stuff in December, does not matter to me. Maybe this team does go on this run. Maybe Jayden comes back against the Seahawks and they start playing like they did last year. But for me, I just haven't seen enough on the defense. I don't think they have enough to come back from these injuries with key starters to go on that kind of run against the Seahawks, Lions, and then try to go through the NFC East with Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, and Eagles again. I just don't see it. Eagles have been banged up since game 1 and are 6-2. Tired of hearing crying over injury. Every team has injuries. Next man up. 100%. 1,000,000% agree with you. But the way that this roster is built, they don't have a next man up that can do anything. All these other teams, Eagles, even 49ers, even Ravens, they have players that they have drafted over the last few years or free agents that they've signed that are actual depth pieces. Meanwhile, we had Robbie Chosen that we just signed, was 2 weeks ago, was like the top receiver against the Cowboys. He was like wide receiver 1 or 2. That is terrible. So I get it. I'm telling you, injuries are not an excuse. I agree with you. But with how this roster is constructed right now, they can't afford any injuries because they don't have anybody. Defensive end room, if they have another injury, who goes out there? They're literally going to be signing somebody else because they have to. I mean, who have they signed this year? They got Drake Jackson. They got Traylon Burks. Haven't seen any of those yet. Drake Jackson's still on IR for a few more games. Commander Blake said, need to see Burks play and see what he can do. I agree. Like, once he gets his offense down, like, that's what I'm saying. If they lose to Seahawks, you better start sitting people that are playing like you know what, that you don't have a plan for in the future. So Bobby Wagner, I get it. He's your Hall of Famer. He's good. I'm not saying bench him for the season, but there is no way, if they lose to the Seahawks, there is no way Bobby Wagner should be playing 100% of snaps moving forward. That is malpractice. You better play Kane Medrano. You better play Jordan McGee. But like I said, they have to play Jordan McGee right now because Frankie Luvu's turning into an edge with the injuries. But, like, see what Burks can do. Get Jalen Lane as much end-game reps as he can get. Get Luke McCaffrey as much reps as he can get. Get Ben Sinnott on the field. Like, see what you have on your team. They're not going to do it right now because they're not eliminated from the playoffs. But Seahawks-Lions loss, that Lions game in Madrid, the Dolphins game in Madrid, better be an audition for who wants to play on this team moving forward. Zach Ertz, love you, but you can go sightsee in Madrid. You can do whatever you want. Ben Sinnott better be playing 75% of snaps in that game. Kane Medrano better start at linebacker. Bobby Wagner, you can go hang out with Zach Ertz. I'm telling you, if they lose the next two games, they need to do some soul searching. They need to do coaching changes. They need to figure out who is going to be part of the long-term future. I don't want to see no more, we're going for it, guys. Like, Bobby Wagner still playing 100% of snaps and getting blown in coverage by Jackson Smith and Jigba and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Danny said, yeah, Kyle Duggar got traded for a pick swap. That's insane. Absolutely, but he's also got a terrible contract. And he's old too. He's like, what, 29? He's got a bad contract, though. So I honestly did not want to take on that contract. But if we're doing a player trade swap, and I'll end with this, give me Cam Taylor-Britt, give me Tyree Wilson. I wanted Keon White before he just got traded to the 49ers. But if you're going to trade a Noah Igbenogany or a Brandon Coleman, like, trade for another young player that you need. It's like Tyree Wilson, young player. You still got him for 3 more years on a contract. Edge rusher. He's a first-round pick. Big guy. That's what they love. Would not surprise me if they wanted someone like that. But obviously, don't trade a draft pick. Do not trade any draft picks at this point if you're Washington. Sell at the deadline if you lose to the Seahawks. You lose to the Seahawks, you go 3-6. And they need to be realistic with themselves and say, hey, we need to build for success instead of stretching ourselves out for the rest of the season. Because we're not going to the playoffs if we lose to the Seahawks. There's no point in exhausting the roster and missing opportunities to get better this offseason if you lose to the Seahawks. So appreciate y'all stopping in. Like I said, check out all the articles on A2ZSports.com. Go to the Washington Commanders site. I've already dropped 4 articles today. Going to write up another one here tonight. I'll do a couple trade articles. But yeah, if we lose to the Seahawks, I will be mashing the button on some more trade talks, especially Daron Payne. So be sure to check those out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. I appreciate y'all. I know it's been rough. We're going to stick it out. We're going to talk about the good. We're going to talk about the bad. There's not much good, but we'll do an hour of Trey Amos if that's the case. We'll do an hour of Trey Amos if that's what it comes down to, but we're not there yet. But I appreciate y'all. Negative, positive, whatever you feel, you're always welcome in here. So I appreciate y'all. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see y'all. Not this time next week. I'll see y'all next Monday night on the channel. I'll be sure to schedule it. But Sunday night, prime time, Super Bowl jerseys. Maybe they shock the world, beat the Seahawks, and hold Jackson Smith and Jigba to 10 yards. But I highly doubt it, unfortunately, until we see something different. But keep up with all the news on A2ZSports.com. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.